go ahead. Before I go ahead, is anybody able to record?
It's recording now.
Is it recording now? Okay. All right. So hello, everybody.
Hello. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Can y'all hear me okay? Over the music?
Yes.
Okay.
Music is great.
So my name is Maya Cochran. I'm a volunteer for the Orly Smith Cancer Research Foundation. I'm Dr. Green's mentee. She is my beloved mentor, and I'm so happy to host this session for her today. We are so excited to meet everybody, meet all of the students, all of the facilitators who helped us, pull this together. We are so thankful. Dr. Green is so excited to speak to you all, and I hope that each person on this Zoom takes at least one piece of advice that they can carry with them through their journey. No matter how old you are at this moment, something you're going to be able to take from this, and it's going to be able to speak to you. So right now, we're going to do something special. We're going to do a little roll call. So I'm going to call out all the groups that we have on today and see who can make the most noise. Let's see which group can make the most noise, okay? So if everybody can mute themselves right now and just prepare their mute buttons for when I call your name, all right? So I'm gonna pause the music. Okay, I cut music's off, so I hope everybody can hear me now better. So we're gonna get this roll call started. First, we have to shout out Sacred Sisters.
That was not very loud, Sacred Sisters.
I can't hear anybody.
We can do better than that.
And they awake.
Better than that.
Let's try it again. Maybe is everybody able to unmute?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna try it again. We're gonna shout out Sacred Sisters Incorporated in the house. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Next, do we have Daughters and Vessels? Okay. Next, we got True Deliverance Holiness Church in the house. We got anybody from True Deliverance here? Okay, that's okay. Next, Eternal Chapel AME Church.
Make some noise. We want to hear you.
Yeah, we want to hear you. Let's go Turner Chapel. Okay. Next we got Girls Talk program. Are you here, Girls Talk? Okay, that's fine. Next is Social Engineering Project. Are y'all ready?
Unmute and let us hear you. Let us know you're here.
Okay, next we got New Vision MSK. If New Vision MSK is in the building, let me hear you. Oh, well, shout out to everybody who made it this morning. We are so happy that you are here. Thank you for tuning in. And we got to give a special shout out to Sacred Sisters Incorporated because they have allowed us to come onto their Zoom platform for their 10th annual virtual STEM conference. So we're very grateful for that. Shout out to you guys. So now I am going to introduce Dr. Green. Dr. Green, if you do not know already, has developed a new cancer treatment that completely eliminates tumors in mice with no side effects. She has made not only Black history, but global history for being the first person to do this. So what we're doing now with the Orly Cancer Research Foundation, we're raising money to get human trials started because we got to get this to humans as quickly as possible. Now, Dr. Green's background is in physics, although she's working on cancer. She's actually one of the first 100 African-American women to earn a PhD in physics. And I just like to point out that we never think of physicists in the medical field, but many of the devices that are used today in medicine were developed through physics, like X-ray, CAT scan, MRI. So I just want to point out that, you know, lots of different disciplines are in the medical field. It's not just, you know, specific to biology or chemistry like some people may think. So to get a better look of who exactly Dr. Green is, we're going to play a video for you guys. So can we get up the first video, please? Okay. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. There we go.
I'm Dr. Hadia Nicole Green, founder of the Ora Lee Smith Cancer Research Foundation.
This physicist developed a treatment for cancer using lasers and nanotechnology, with the goal of creating a treatment with fewer side effects. Hadia Nicole Green.
Dr. Hadia Nicole Green.
Dr. Hadia Nicole Green. This is Dr. Hadia Nicole Green, the one and only. Dr. Hadia Nicole Green is on a mission to seek out cancer and destroy it.
My aunt, who raised me from age 4, announced that she had what she called woman's cancer. And she said that she would rather die than experience the side effects of chemotherapy and radiation. And I took care of her the last 3 months of her life. 3 months after she passed, my uncle, who raised me, he was diagnosed with esophageal cancer. He went through chemo and radiation, and I took care of him while he was going through his treatments. And I got to see with both of them firsthand the horrors of cancer and the horrors of cancer care. And it was so devastating that it fell on my heart that there has to be a better way.
15 years ago, I lost the only mom I knew to cancer. Since then, I've dedicated my life to this cause so we can stop losing. In 2016, BET ran a headline which stated, "I was our best hope for curing cancer." Well, I have good news. I've developed a technology, and within 15 days, it completely eliminates tumors in laboratory mice after one single
In
treatment.
15 days.
15 days.
And it does it without any observable side effects.
And no observable side effects.
With your support of my nonprofit, the Ora Lee Smith Cancer Research Foundation, we can keep this treatment affordable and accessible. And we can also begin human trials within 1 year of reaching our first fundraising goal.
So Dr. Green has 3 degrees in physics. She's just got an amazing $1 million grant for the work she's doing. She's already proving it with mice, and she's going to move on to human trials.
I stand with you. If you want to win, stand with me.
For the loved ones we've all lost. For the families that we can still save. Let's make America the country that cures cancer once and for all.
We are on the brink of a revolution in how cancer is treated worldwide. This isn't just a moment to give. It's a movement for change. Join us. Donate now at orally.org.
So, Dr. Green, would you like to say a couple words after that?
Yes. So first, let me say thank you, Maya, for doing such a great job of introducing me and explaining the context of how physicists fit in the medical community, the history of medicine. You did a fantastic job. I am so proud of you. I love you. I'm excited about your future. And I got emotional listening to you because I see you blossoming. And it really is a pleasure to work with you. And I want to say thank you to you, to Dr. Borsico, and all of the Sacred Sister and organizers, Dr. Causey Bush, Dr. Williams, and your teams for bringing this together and allowing us this platform, and for allowing us to use this platform to share what we're doing with children all across the country who have been asking me to come speak at their programs. It really is the highest honor to give back and mentor the next generation. And I know that people have expectations of public figures. And a lot of times entertainers and celebrities say they don't want to be a role model just because they have a talent. And I value, honor, and treasure being a role model and a mentor. And I thought it would be befitting to have my mentee, Maya Catherine, to come and co-host this event or host this event today. So I'm proud of her as an Howard University alum who was recently admitted into the Morehouse School of Medicine PhD program into my laboratory, and she will get her PhD under my guidance. And I'm honored to have this responsibility. And I've prayed about it and made a commitment to God to be a good steward as her mentor. And I value this sacred time with you all on a Sabbath to come and have this time to fellowship so that we can pour into the young people in hopes that you will see our light and know that if God can do this with us, God can do anything with anybody and do it for you too. We're not special. We're just obedient servants. And if we do this for you, your responsibility, your payment, your admission fee is to pay it forward and make sure that when you become successful, because you will, that you take time out and give back to the next generation to make sure they have a positive, bright light to follow as an example. Shine your light on the world. So thank you all. Thank you, Maya, for this opportunity. I'm really excited. I got a glance at some of your questions, and I'm looking forward to doing this Q&A.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Green, for that. I like to share something that I really admire about Dr. Green's journey and something that really comforts me. She didn't realize, what exactly her mission was until she grew up and was in grad school. The whole time she thought she was going to do something else. And I know sometimes as a young person, we struggle trying to figure out what our purpose is. And one thing I like about Dr. Green is she worked hard, from the beginning and put her best foot forward until her purpose came and found her. And I'm going to play one more video for you guys that reminds me of one of my favorite quotes is to shoot for the moon. And even if you miss, you'll land amongst the stars. And in this next video, a lot of your questions are answered. This is a little background of how Dr. Green's journey throughout school. So I'm going to get this video queued up.
And while she's queuing up videos, feel free to chat in the chat.
All right, can you guys see?
Yes.
Yep. In fact, ladies, if you have questions, you can go ahead and start dropping those in the chat as well.
Yes.
I already knew about me being a physicist. How many of you guys know my story?
Anybody? Anybody know a story? No?
I like learning.
No, but we would like to learn. Tell us your story.
So I'm originally from St. Louis, Missouri, and I think you guys are all in middle school now, right?
Yes.
Okay, and when I was in middle school, I was SGA president and captain of the cheerleading team, and I was involved in different extracurricular activities. And when I started high school, one of my mentors expressed to me the importance of making good, how important your high school grades are for the rest of your career. And the reason why that was important, because your high school grades help you get scholarships to college. So I went into high school with a certain level of seriousness that actually came about because I tore my ACL in a cheerleading injury. I was initially planning on having a career in track or doing hair because I was really good at braiding my Cabbage Patch Kids hair. Are you guys old enough to know what Cabbage Patch Kids are?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Oh, you talking about them? I mean, you remember Cabbage Patch Kids? Okay, it's more than just a dance. We'll cover that after the video.
And so I was really good at braiding Cabbage Patch Kids, the yarn braids. I was really good at that, and I started doing my own hair. So I was planning on having a career either as a cosmetologist or I was a track star, and then I blew out my knee. And I said, I really better take that advice seriously to get good grades. So I went to high school, and I modified my athletic schedule to spend more time studying so that I could try to get an academic scholarship to college. No one else in my family had gone to college before, so this was kind of uncharted territory for me. And in high school, I was in the recycling team. I played on the chess club. I was in the poetry club, and I was class president all 4 years. But I was very involved in extracurricular activities in high school, and I didn't know what I was going to do when I went to college. And I did a summer program right after I finished high school at Xavier University in New Orleans that was all about computer science, because I figured that was the new trend. I'll do computer science. And then I realized I don't like sitting in front of computers all day. That really wasn't my personality. So I got a full scholarship to Alabama A&M University, which I'm a huge advocate for historically Black colleges and universities. They gave me a full scholarship and really gave me a chance to develop as a person. Being the first in my family to go to college, it was important to me to have a nurturing environment where people cared about me and knew my name, knew my face. They noticed if I wasn't in class that day, and I might get a phone call to see if I was sick, and I probably was if I missed class. And it was just a really nurturing environment where people empowered me and believed in me. And when they found out that I was involved in extracurricular activities in high school, they encouraged me to pursue leadership activities at Alabama A&M. So I ended up being the founding president of the Greater St. Louis Student Association. And that led me into a lot of different extracurricular activities there. And I organized, probably over 1,000 hours of community service initiatives for everyone else on campus to participate in. And I was president of a few different organizations while I was there. And I really unified the campus. And that was something that I did when I was in high school too. I unified my high school classmates, and I unified the students with the community when I was in college. So I changed my major 3 times my freshman year. And I had gone from computer science to electrical engineering to mathematics. And I was coming out of a calculus class one day, and this lady, Dr. Aisha Fields, she wasn't a doctor at the time, she was actually in graduate school. She saw me coming out of a calculus class my freshman year, and she pulled me, "Oh, you must be pretty smart to take calculus as a freshman." And I said, "No, I don't know about smart, but I have really good study habits, and I work really hard." And so she said, "Well, I want to challenge you. If you can handle calculus as a freshman, then why don't you major in physics? What do you want to do when you grow up?" And I really didn't know. And I said, "Well, everybody knows physics is hard, duh." And she's like, "Who told you that? Who told you physics was hard?" Probably people who weren't taking calculus as a freshman. And she challenged me to think outside of the box and to not let other people put their limitations and their reality on me. Other people might find physics hard, but I shouldn't accept that as a truth when it was conditional upon me and my own capabilities.
So Dr. Green drops a lot of good gems in this video. Oops, sorry. If you would like to finish this video, it's called Soleil and Dr. Green, Dr. Hadia Nicole Green. It's on Al Elliott's YouTube. Again, she says a lot of great stuff in that video, but it's too long to show right now. So we're gonna move on and get into this Q&A. You guys had a ton of great questions, like so many good questions. So I'm gonna go through and ask Dr. Green a few of them. So our first question is from Turner Chapel AME. What are some things you recommend for high schoolers to start doing now to prepare them for the field of physics?
That is a great question. And let me say that preparation, whether you're going into physics, any other science, or anything in life, starts with making good decisions. How you spend your time, what you do, what you decide not to do. Because you can have the best preparation, and if you are doing illegal activities, if you're at the wrong place at the wrong time, if you get caught up with the wrong crowd, it can undermine all of your great efforts. So you have to make good decisions as a primary foundation for being successful. In addition to that, make studying a priority and make sure that you have all of the basics, because you may think you want to go into one thing like I did and end up in a completely different field. But if your foundation is strong, then you literally will have more options, and anything that you're trying to do from that point, you'll be prepared for. So in high school, it is important as early, even as middle school, to start preparing for the standardized tests and building your community service track record and building your grades. You have to be a well-rounded person in order to be competitive, to get into college, to get scholarships, and to be successful once you get there. It's not enough to just show up at the door. When you're prepared, you can show up and you can excel, and that's the difference. So prioritize studying. Try as hard as you can to get a 4.0. And it's not about being the smartest person in the class. I was never the smartest person in the classroom. It might take me 2 or 3 extra hours to study so that I can master the material. And by master the material, I don't just mean practice it one time, but read it before I go to class so that the first time I'm being introduced to the subject isn't when the teacher puts it on the board. That should not be your first time finding out what you're going to learn for the day. You should read the book ahead of the teacher so that you have insight and you can prepare questions ahead of time. And being able to prepare those questions ahead of time will allow you to have a more elevated and more sophisticated experience with your teacher. So you're not just listening to learn, you're listening to understand. So then when you go back to do your homework, now you have better insight because you can take advantage of office hours as soon as they're available. You can ask questions in class so that you're not off guard or caught off guard when you're learning. You go prepared to learn, and take the hardest classes that you can starting in middle school. So if you get on the track, the pre-college track in middle school, it will prepare you for college, but that starts in middle school. And it's not that it's too late when you get to college or when you get to high school. Excuse me. It's not that it's too late when you get to high school, but you really have to be mindful once you get in high school that everything that you do counts. So if you have bad study habits, if you're staying up late, if you're eating too much sugar and too much junk food and you can't sit still and focus, you're setting yourself up for failure. ADD is something that is real, but if you practice meditating, you can relax yourself enough to focus, eliminate sugar in your diet, and really be mindful about doing college preparatory, taking college prep classes. And if you can, in high school, take the AP classes, the advanced placement classes. And I'll share, when I was in high school, I didn't pay the fee for the AP classes, but I still took them. So if I had the insight that I have now, I would have asked for financial assistance to cover the cost so that I could have finished college sooner. But whether you pay for them or not, still get that experience and challenge yourself. It's not about being perfect, but it's about perfect practice and being disciplined and really having the commitment. When you block time, make sure that you're prioritizing study time, and make sure that you take time to proofread college applications, proofread everything, and start preparing for your next position now. So if you want to go to college, start acting and thinking like a college student in high school, and take the extracurricular activities, your community service, and all of that, because it's not just about grades anymore. You have to have that balance in your application to be successful. So to the specific part about preparing for physics, having a strong background in math and mathematics allowed me to get all the way through my undergraduate degree, like literally just based on math. And I graduated with a 4.0 in physics because I was strong in math. And being strong in math started when I was in elementary school because my older brother made it fun. And here is one of the best techniques that I can tell you guys. When you're doing your homework, the first time you're doing it, you're in discovery mode. The second time you're doing it, you're still in discovery mode. Until you can do them as second nature, continue to repeat your homework assignments and write them over and over again. And I remember when I was in graduate school and my math foundation wasn't sufficient to get me through graduate school, I was struggling with electromagnetism. And I went to my advisor and I said, this class, I'm really struggling with it. I usually do my homework and I can go in and I can pass the test with no problem, but the test is never like the homework and I don't feel prepared when I go to take the exam. He said, well, how many times did you do your homework problems? I'm like, what do you mean? I completed the assignment and I was done, forking it, done. So he said, Albert Einstein used to do problems 20 times over and over and over and over again. Do you think you're smarter than Albert Einstein? And I was like, oh, wow. So what I found was on my journey to repeat the problems 20 times, that when I got to about 12 times, I was confident and I was able to make my A's on my exam. That does not mean I'm declaring I'm smarter than Albert Einstein, but it does mean that I want to encourage you guys with this technique that I didn't learn until I was in my PhD program, that if you start doing it now, you'll be able to master information better so that when you see it in a different form, you own that information and you can use it to help solve bigger problems that are not exactly like your homework problems, but it teaches you and trains you how to think and how to solve problems instead of how to just do homework.
Okay, great answer. She said a mouthful, so I hope y'all was taking notes for real.
Dr. Green, I just have a comment that's actually a great advice for our young, students on the call, and it leads me to another follow-up question, if I may. My name is Jasmine Barnes, and I am representing the County of San Bernardino. And I have two of my colleagues here with me today, Rhonda Furtado and Yara Quesada, and we are very excited to actually be part of this conference. It's our first in a long time. But what my question is, how do you guys think, and this question is for Dr. Williams and Dr. Green and maybe Maya, we are very interested, our group is very interested to see how can we partner with your organization to spread, awareness in diversity in tech. We are coming from a software development background in industry, and we know actually the way the way we found out about this event is one of our Equal Opportunity Commission board members stumbled upon your flyer on Facebook, and she tagged me and said, look into this event and kind of see what they're talking about, because we'd like to really encourage young students to get into the technical, software development technology field. How can we partner with you to kind of plant the seed early on for our students so that they are, get interested into this type of, in this industry?
So awesome. Thank you for that question and welcome. First, the Ora Lee Smith Cancer Research Foundation is the nonprofit that I raise and that I founded to raise money to take my technology into human trials. And it was born out of the situation with my family and cancer, but also out of the funding disparity for scientists of color, and to be able to bring a solution forward that would allow me not to be dependent on the traditional funding mechanisms. The second part of that, I am excited about having partners. We are excited about having partners. So we have a partnership process where we can do programs throughout the year and come up with how we, what the specific agenda would be for each partnership. And we can help raise the awareness of diversity in tech, and to move forward and raise awareness about the Orally Foundation. So it would be our delight. So I'm going to put, can someone put partnership team at orally.org in the chat? So if you email the partnership team, but email partnership team at orally.org, they'll respond with information about establishing a partnership. And we are excited about doing that. That would be awesome. Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you all.
Okay, so our next question would be kind of similar, but not so much based on the Orally Foundation. So more broad. This question is from the social engineer. What summer programs are offered to help shape direction and expose new innovative opportunities?
Okay. Awesome. So, and I just want to make a note, it's partnership team at orally.org is the short version. So if Tracy, if you don't mind putting at orally.org, partnership team at orally.org. Can you repeat the question, Maya? I'm sorry, I got distracted.
Yes, it's okay. So this is from the social engineer group. What summer programs are offered to help shape direction and expose to new innovative opportunities?
Okay, thank you for that. And I just want to let everyone know and thank Dr. Borsico again for coordinating. So Dr. Borsico collected questions for the last 2 or 3 months, and those are the questions that Maya is reading from each of the groups. So I appreciate the questions in the chat, and I'm excited about how we're able to have the conversation. So the summer programs that I participated in were sponsored by the National Science Foundation. They're called REU, Research Experience for Undergraduates. And I'm trying to remember, when I was in middle school, I did some summer enrichment programs. And right before I started undergrad, I did a summer program at Xavier University for the transition of high school students into college. It was called a SOAR program, SOAR. And if you have an idea of what field you want to do, there are usually summer programs that are offered by national organizations that will allow you to go to someplace specific and obtain a specific experience. So the summer program that I did at Xavier, I was coming out of my senior year going into college, and it was specifically for computer science, people who were interested in majoring in computer science in college. The cool part about that was that it helped me realize that I did not want to do computer science. So I don't have specifics for every possible major, but if you Google if you Google summer programs and put in your grade, then you can find something specific to you. Unfortunately, I don't remember doing science camps and things like that when I was growing up. And that's one of the things that I would love to partner as part of our partnership with Jasmine Barnes and her organization, because I didn't have a science kit. Nobody ever gave me a science kit or a microscope when I was a child. And I was naturally curious. I asked a bunch of questions, but no one knew to cultivate me into becoming a scientist. It just happened. That was my path. But I would love to see more targeted efforts so that young people can know these are resources available to us. Those things exist. And it's Boundless Brilliance, a summer program that people can use as a resource. I see Dr. Axon put that in the chat. So there are programs out there. I don't personally have a specific one, but they do exist and you can find them. Google is an excellent resource, especially if you're looking for something local to your area. And if you have an idea, just put in science summer camps and things like that.
Okay, cool. So next question. This is from Daughters and Vessels. How do you mentally prepare for your work?
Oh, that's a great question. So it depends on what I'm doing. My mental preparation doesn't start and stop with one specific thing. My mental preparation is rooted in my spiritual life. And I pray all throughout the day. There's a scripture that says pray without ceasing. So part of my mental preparation is praying in the morning, praying while I'm brushing my teeth, while I'm in the shower, asking for guidance. And a lot of times, well, not even just a lot of times, like all throughout the day before I go to sleep and when I wake up in the morning, I usually have whatever God inspired ideas come to me while I'm sleeping. I wake up fresh with new ideas and I try to write them down and capture them. The inventions that I have, the idea for the tech to kill cancer, all of that came fresh in the morning. So I can't really take credit for it. That's God inspired. When I'm studying, I make sure that I am well rested. I don't drink coffee. I don't take any kinds of drugs, maybe like a pain pill every once in a while if I have a serious body ache, but I don't use any extra stimulants. I get proper rest. I eat an organic diet with no white sugar, white bread, or anything like that. I eat very healthy, a clean diet with lots of fruits and vegetables. I drink plenty of water. I don't drink sodas and things with a lot of sugar in it. And having that balance of mental, physical, spiritual, emotional, and financial health helps me not stress out about the other parts of life so that I can focus in. And I exercise every day. I take time to just have time in nature every day. And all of those things prepare me so that when I sit down to actually work, to study, when I was in school, when I would study, I would do so with my mind and my heart clear. And a lot of times in the African American community, we have a lot of family emergencies that distract us from being able to focus on school. So the best thing that my family did was they did not tell me about family emergencies in real time. They waited until I called them to check in when I got finished with finals, when I got finished with the big exam. They knew what my schedule was and they did not tell me. So there were times where I missed funerals because they didn't tell me because they knew I had a final coming up and I needed to stay focused so I could be successful. And they did not necessarily have the best understanding of what it was going to take for me to be successful, but they knew it would be hard to do if I was getting all of the drama in real time. And it wasn't that our family wasn't having drama, they just shielded me from it. So that also helped that I could turn my ringer off, put a voicemail, hey guys, I'm studying. I finished with finals on December 12th. You know, if there's an emergency, you know, call other people in the family because I can't do anything. And they gave me that grace to be unavailable during finals, to be unavailable when I have a grant deadline. And they give me that grace to focus. And they know that I love them, that my unavailability is not a reflection of my love for them, but they also just support. And there are times when I'm not there, when I'm not working on a big deadline or working on a grant, they know I'm 1,000% in and they have my unconditional love, but they love me back by allowing me to focus on my work. So all of that goes into being able to focus because it's not just one dimensional. And if if I'm having, I do believe in stopping. If I'm eating, if I'm hungry, I stop to eat. If I'm tired, I stop. I take a nap every day. It keeps me sharp because I wake up at 4, 5 in the morning and I start my day. And I usually do more by 8 a.m. than most people do all day. And then I go back to sleep and I'm usually asleep every morning around 9, 10 a.m. And then I get back up and I'm going until late in the evening with meetings and things like that. So the process of preparing is an all day thing. And I keep all of my drama to a minimum. I keep people who have a lot of unnecessary drama at an arm's distance and love them from a distance. And not that I can't be there for them, but there were some choices that I had to make. I can't deal with personal crises from day to day with some people who have made bad decisions about things, and these are the consequences of their bad decisions. I can't be the support that they need and try to save the world at the same time. So that's a decision that I make, the kind of people I have in my life and the kinds of circumstances that just don't come to me because I have certain boundaries. And having healthy boundaries is very important in life, in relationships, with family, and in general. And so having those healthy boundaries allow me to prepare and focus to be able to do a good job.
That was a lot of good advice that I just took too. So one thing I would say, if you have to have that conversation with your family. Dr. Green's family took that upon themselves to give her that grace. But if you need to, have that conversation, that is definitely a conversation worth having. If you need your space during study time, during time you need to focus. All right, so next question. I think this is a really good question. As a graduate of an HBCU, were there ever times when people did not take you seriously with your research? If so, how did you prove them wrong?
So that is a great question. I'm a proud Alabama A&M University alum, and I graduated with a 4.0 GPA in physics. I had interned at NASA, University of Rochester Institute of Optics, and in one of the laser physics labs at Alabama A&M University. So I came out with a lot of preparation and a lot of amazing research experience, and went into graduate school with $100,000 scholarship, which is like winning the lottery. I started on an academic scholarship from Alabama A&M, the presidential scholarship. So I went in with no student loans, came out with no student loans, got another set of scholarships for my master's and PhD programs. And there were people who judged my educational background based on stereotypes and maybe even racism. But the nurturing that I received at my HBCU allowed me to be successful, to build my confidence, and be able to go forth in graduate school and achieve my goals. I had classmates in my high school who decided to go to a majority university, a majority institution, because they bought into the idea that those institutions were superior based on pure numbers, without taking into consideration the experience of minorities at those institutions. And what happened, some of them experienced so much racism that they didn't even finish with their undergraduate degree. And they had higher GPAs and higher SAT scores coming out of high school than I did. So when I finished with my degree, and when they didn't finish with school, some of them did, but when you look at how much they owed in student loans and I didn't owe any student loans, we start seeing how things balance out. The confidence that my HBCU gave me allowed me to go on and become one of the first African-American females to get a PhD in physics, and have the confidence to start my own cancer charity and say, well, if we can have a Susan G. Komen, why can't we have an Orally Foundation? So the experience that I had, where people may see, oh, well, she wasn't smart enough, or they may assume that I wasn't smart enough, but I turned down Princeton. I turned down Washington University to go to an HBCU. And it wasn't about me not being smart enough to be in an Ivy League, because I got accepted into Princeton for undergrad and grad school, and I turned them down twice. And I had people tell me that you crazy. Why would you turn down Princeton? Because I knew the nurturing that I would get as a first generation student at Alabama A&M University, that there were people put in place who would support me and make sure that not only did I show up for class, but they made sure that I was loved and protected and guided. And they made sure that I had a church home, that I had dinners on Sunday, that I could go to people's houses for winter breaks or Thanksgiving dinner. And my mentor network, they love me so much. They love me so much that it gave me what I needed to build my confidence as a first generation college student who didn't know the ropes. And so I wasn't just a number, and I had that nurturing. And there are times when people ask, well, if I have this opportunity, it's not about the school. Sometimes it's about who will help you when you get there to be successful. And if you can get into a school and you don't have the mentorship and you don't have the support system, your chances of washing out increase. If you go to a school that may not be as prestigious, but you have the support system to get through that school, your chances of being successful increase. And one of our slogans for Alabama A&M University, you can start here and go anywhere. And we have alum who have been made Hall of Famers in the NFL. We have alum who are presidents of companies, lawyers who are on CNN all the time, Don Calloway, Robert Mathis, and the list goes on of prestigious alum who start at Alabama A&M University or any HBCU and go anywhere. And we've seen the new vice president of the United States is an HBCU grad. We've seen mayors who are HBCU grads. So don't think that just because it's not an Ivy League that you don't have the same prestige or opportunities, because your success depends on you, your determination, your grit, your grind. And I would offer that you can be whatever you want to be, no matter where you go and no matter who you are. And there's a chat in the comments, the intangibles at an HBCU are priceless. They truly are. And there was no way for me to experience the support system that I needed as a first generation college student. And the amazing part about all of this, I told you about the academic part, but because of the community service that I brought to the table, because of my just love for people, my peers did a makeover because I was dressed like a tomboy and showed me how to do makeup and wear heels. And they organized a campaign for me to run for Miss Alabama A&M University against 8 other women and all of the fraternities on campus, and 97% of the student population voted for me to be queen for a year. And I had the honor and the privilege of serving as Miss Alabama A&M University. And it was like Black excellence royalty. And my brother said, I never thought you would grow up to be a beauty queen, because I was a tomboy my whole life. And so having this experience at an HBCU, being able to be Black college royalty, and I thought it was just for a year, and they say, no, you will always be Miss Alabama A&M University. It's not like majority institutions where you're just homecoming queen. You are forever HBCU royalty. And those type of experiences in the African American community, where we've been uprooted from our ancestors in Africa and we may not know that lineage, but to be part of a lineage of HBCU royalty is a humbling privilege. And you can't have that at a majority institution because it's not designed for that.
Very good answer. Here's another question that I just absolutely love, because this is some advice that I need as well. This one says, do you ever want to quit? Have you ever quit? And how do you come back to the work?
Okay, that is a great question. So the short answer is yes. I not only wanted to quit, but I have quit before. And when I say quit, I mean like quit, I'm done. I can't take this anymore, God. I don't know why you have me doing this. I have this mentor who's saying I will never graduate, and he's laughing at me and walking away. And it's like, this is an impossible mountain to move. How do I move forward? And it made me go deep into my prayer life and my spiritual life. And I will be honest, I quit a few times. And I have a cousin, her name is Kelly, and she says to me one time, you can quit tonight, but when you wake back up in the morning, you better be back in that lab. If God gave you a way to cure cancer and it's supposed to come through you and you quit, you're going to miss your boat to heaven. And I know you want to go to heaven. And so you better know that God got this. And this is bigger than you. And if God brought you to it, he'll bring you through it. And that was the truth that brought me back. When other people would say otherwise, I listened to what God has said to me about me in the Bible, about my assignment, my calling, and being set apart. So having somebody else tell me what I can't do is like, you don't know my God, you don't know my Father. And being able to say, I don't know how this is going to work. I don't see this forward. I don't see the way forward. It puts me in a place of being a very humble servant to know that these things are only possible because of God. So I have to be careful to give God the glory that it's not about me. I'm doing things that are not humanly possible for me to do all by myself and dare me to get up and say, I did this, I'm taking all the credit. God has to get the glory. If it was really easy and I would have been able to do it all by myself, I wouldn't say, okay, let me thank God. I wouldn't be able to say, God did this. I'm just a lowly, humble servant on an assignment. So that's what brings me back. And I have prayed for something else. I was a poet when I was younger, and I wrote a book of poetry. And I wanted to go on Deaf Poetry Jam. So some of you guys may not be old enough to know what Deaf Poetry Jam was, but it was like karaoke that was organized, and people got up and recited their poems. And it was really entertaining. It was on cable. And it was my favorite show. And I wanted to be a Def Jam poet. That was like my career goal. And then I said, okay, I'm going to apply for college, but I still want to do this. And I was in the poetry club all through high school, all through college. And when my first round of graduate school, I had a professor who was extremely biased, we'll say. It may have been racism. It felt like racism, but he would not grade my exams fairly. And my grade in his class dropped my GPA so low that I got called in the dean's office. Like, you're here on this $100,000 scholarship. What are you doing bringing grades like this in? And I'm showing him, I wrote on my test 98% of exactly what's in the book for the answer to this test question. And the professor gave me a 2 out of 10 points on this question. I'm not being graded fairly. And I quit graduate school once. And I don't talk about this a lot. And at the time I was grieving my aunt. She had just passed from cancer, and I had gone off to grad school. And then 3 months after she passed, my uncle who raised me was diagnosed with cancer. And I was out in California crying every day. And I couldn't figure out left from right, because I'm like, this doesn't make sense. This is miserable. I'm far away from my family. I can't get to anybody. And when my uncle got diagnosed with cancer, I'm like, I want to come and take care of you. He was like, baby, you can always come home. So I went home to take care of my uncle. And I prayed with him every day. And I took care of him and I nursed him back to life as he lost 150 pounds, all of his hair, all of his eyelashes. And it was a really hard time. And when I was talking about earlier, like being financially responsible, I saved up everything that I could that during that year. And I kept my expenses to a minimum. And I tried to live on a third of my income, save a third of my income. And and the other half you're supposed to enjoy, but I wasn't enjoying because I was working all the time and studying all the time. So I had money saved up, and I took a year off and lived on my savings. And when I got down towards the end of my savings, I'm like, Lord, I don't know how ends are going to meet. I don't know how things are going to come together. And I prayed my way through. And during this time is when I prayed and asked God to show me a better way to deal with cancer. And all of the experiences that I had that led up to that point were preparation. And I do believe that my experience in California and getting to the bottom of my savings account when I was like, okay, I don't have anything to lose. If this is my assignment, I'm all in. And you're showing me this answer to cancer and I can kill cancer with this, I will dedicate my life to this fight. And I was all in. But it wasn't because I saw it and I was so embarrassed about my grades coming from the first graduate school that I didn't want to share about that experience when I applied to graduate school again. And I went to a conference and got recruited to University of Alabama at Birmingham for my PhD program. And the funny part about that is they told me my undergraduate transcript was so strong, apply with that. And I said, okay. And I did. And I thought that I wouldn't, like I would lose my scholarship, that I wouldn't get accepted into graduate school again, because I quit. I mean, I officially, like, I left. I was like, I'm going home. I'm going to take care of my uncle. He needs me. And publicly, officially, I had a family emergency, publicly. But in my heart, I knew I quit. And I knew my family would have supported me if I had stayed out there. But I quit and I went home and I was the caregiver. And I do not regret the quality time that I got to spend with my aunt during the summer before and with my uncle during the school year. But in that year that I took off, in that prayer time, God showed me this technology on how to cure cancer that's in my patent application. God showed me this was my journey. And I was still praying to be a Nobel laureate and following Maya Angelou's footsteps. And I'm like, if I don't get into grad school, let me be a poet and do my poem at the White House. And I don't know if you guys watched the last inauguration when the 22-year-old girl was doing a poem. I'm like, okay, that's what I saw myself doing when I was 22, 23, but that wasn't for me. So I went back in, got into grad school, went through all the hardships in grad school, came out. I told you guys about there was a mentor who said that I wasn't going to graduate, and I prayed my way through that and had everything lined up. And I found a new mentor to add to my dissertation committee. And he said, you did all of this and they won't let you graduate, add me to your committee. So I added him to my committee and he went in the room, told me to step out, close the door. And he went off on my whole dissertation committee and shamed them. But he was so much more senior than them that they, out of respect, like, were humble. And I graduated that semester. Like, it was like that. And the part about I know God's hand was in it was because the mentor who told me that I would never graduate, he and his wife's surrogate mother went into labor early. And he couldn't make my dissertation defense, and he had to waive his right to sign off and gave it and said, if everybody else signs off, then sign my name. And I'm like, God moved a mountain, because that man was not going to let me graduate. So I know, like, he was the discouraging element when I was in grad school. So I got out of graduate school, went back home. No. I had job offers all over the country. And I didn't know that I wanted to continue with this, because I'm like, this is hard. This is really hard. I had this, I don't know which way to go, right from left. And instead of taking one of the 12 job offers that I had on the table, I took an internship for a postdoc in Singapore, because I love to travel. And I'm like, I need time to let my mind rest, because there's official research that African Americans who obtain PhDs at majority institutions come out with PTSD. And I had PTSD from grad school. It was bad. And I went to Asia. I did my research in Singapore, and I took time and I backpacked for a month in China and a month in Japan. And I'm like on a train. I'm learning the language as I'm traveling. And I visited a few other countries while I was there. And the whole time I was praying, like, Lord, show me what I'm supposed to do. I don't know how I'm going to get the funding for this research. I don't know if this is even what I'm supposed to. This sounds crazy. I'm a motherless, fatherless child. My aunt and uncle, who were my guardians, who raised me, they're both gone now. I don't know what you would have for me to do. No, my uncle hadn't passed yet. He ended up passing later that year. So he got sick, and I came back home from Asia to take care of him again, and he ended up passing that year. And I said, okay, I need to find a job. And I had gotten low on my savings account again. And I'm like, I need to find a job. And I couldn't find a job in St. Louis while I was taking care of him, and asked him for his blessings to go off to Tuskegee University, where I had my first job. And when I was there, I couldn't, I'm like, I'm in the classroom, I'm teaching, but I'm like, I really want to bring this cancer treatment to life. Like, God, show me. So one of my mentors, Dr. Houston, she had a nonprofit. She was like, Hadia, why don't you start your own nonprofit? Like, you could be the next biggest Susan G. Komen. Why not? And I was like, And I sat on it and I prayed about it for a couple of years. And I started learning how to apply for grants. And every time I submit a grant, I would say something like, okay, God, if I don't get this grant, let me have my poetry career and I'll retire from teaching, and I'll, pursue my poetry career, and I'll write more books, and I'll be on the lecture circuit. And then I got this $1 million grant. And my whole life changed from that point forward. And news about me getting the grant went viral. And then that's when I started my foundation. And we've been able to raise record-breaking money, not enough to begin human trials yet, but record-breaking for African-American tech founder. There have only been 12 other African-American tech founders to raise $2 million or more for a tech startup. And through my nonprofit, we've been able to join those ranks last year. So I'm very humble and grateful about that. But the giving up part, it happens. And I think the short answer to that the short summary to that very long answer is, if you're praying for God to guide you, you can't avoid your calling. And I tried to run from this. This is heavy. And so instead of me praying to be a poet, I just started praying for help. And God started sending volunteers to help me, and sending people in my lab, and sending people like Dr. B, like Tracy, like Pam, and like Maya to come and help me. And I have a team of over 100 volunteers in my nonprofit who also lost parents to cancer, or were looking for a mentor and saw what I was doing, and they were inspired. And we do have opportunities for people, if you know how to type, if you know how to copy and paste, if you know how to make a graphic, or you want to donate a painting, we have opportunities for all kinds of volunteers. If you want to edit videos and make TikTok videos for us, we have all kinds of opportunities. And I'm so grateful for my team, because this is not I work, this is teamwork. And we always say how teamwork makes the dream work. I couldn't do this by myself. And every time I get an award, every time I am successful with the grant, I know it's because my team helped me do it. And I said God knew that I needed the encouragement along the journey so that I wouldn't keep quitting. And I'm very humble and grateful, because having something that's bigger than you, your assignment, and there are people like Tracy who says that she found her purpose in volunteering with us is to help. And Maya says her assignment on the planet is to help people. And it's having, if you may not have your own vision, supporting something that you believe in is just as divine and as worthy and noble a cause.
Dr. Green, you gave so much great information.
I know I talked for a long time and I answered
But
other
it's
questions.
so much great information.
I did sneak in some of the other questions, so I got a couple of those in.
No, I was reading the question. I was like, well, she didn't answer this one. She answered this one. So, you know, we got 3 more minutes. I'm about to turn it over to Dr. Tanya Causey Bush, so she can introduce Sacred Sisters. Someone told me in the chat I kind of slighted y'all's introduction, so I want to give y'all the time to share who you guys are. But the very last thing, I've seen a couple people put it in the chat, so if you can answer briefly before I pass the mic, can you explain how your technology works for everybody?
Yes. Okay, so I know people think when they read the headlines that I'm our best hope for curing cancer, that I'm just using Black girl magic in the lab. There's some truth to it, but also I developed a couple of different protocols that are patented, some patent pending. I developed a nanoparticle that's a really tiny particle made out of gold that is so small you can't see it with the naked eye, and it's suspended in a solution, but it has an absorption spectrum that overlaps with the emission wavelength of the laser. So for people who may not be scientists, this concept is called resonance, and resonance is what you see if you blow a dog's whistle, and we can't hear it as humans, but dogs can hear it. So the whistle is in resonance with the dog's hearing. So these wavelengths are what I'm talking about. So the absorption wavelength of my nanoparticles, I match them to the emission wavelength of the laser. And as a result of that fine tuning, the laser causes these nanoparticles to heat up hot enough to kill the cancer cells they're touching. And this was one of 2 platforms that I developed. This is the one that I'm raising money to begin human clinical trials that has already demonstrated complete elimination of human cancer in laboratory mice after 1 treatment over the course of 15 days with no observed side effects. The reason why it does not have the observed side effects that chemotherapy and radiation does is because it's a laser pointer. It's the equivalent of a laser pointer. It has the accuracy that's the equivalent of a laser pointer. So there is, by design, we're creating the thermal equivalent of burning cancer, if that's a way to make it make sense, because I know we have young people in the audience. And so there's a question about, is it only targeting cancerous cells? So the first platform that I developed, we're doing a direct injection at the site of the tumor so that we can limit the treatment to just the site of the cancer, just the site of the tumor. So it's not a global systemic treatment, it's local. I developed a second technology that, and let me back up. The first one is designed for locally advanced, difficult to treat tumors, solid tumors. The second technology that I developed takes this first platform and adds a targeting and imaging mechanism to it. So I'm conjugating these laser activated nanoparticles to fluorescently labeled antibodies that target the overexpressed biomarkers that are on the surface of the cells. And the exciting part about this, it's a 4-in-1 way to diagnose, image, target, and treat cancer. That's in the pipeline. And with more funding, we can bring that one into human trials as well. And I'm excited about it. And it falls under the broad category of photothermal therapy. The difference between our targeted therapy, our photothermal therapy, and other therapies is that we were able to demonstrate complete elimination after one treatment in a living being, not just in a petri dish. And there were other people who were working on this, some pioneers in the field before I started, and I studied what they were doing and I studied what they missed. And I was able to go in and spend a few years and solve the problem of some of the details that they overlooked to optimize the technology so that we can have the outcomes, the desired outcomes of complete tumor elimination.
Thank you for that explanation. That was a really good explanation for everybody. I know we're over time just a little bit. I want to go ahead and wrap it up. I see in the chat, Dr. Williams wants to take a group photo. I would love to do that.
And don't forget Dr. Causey Bush, because I do want to acknowledge her and the Sacred Sisters. And I thank you so much for having us on your platform and opening it up so that we can invite the other groups who have been asking me to come speak. And I love doing this, but my bandwidth has been so limited. I haven't been able to do this. And so I agreed to do this on the condition that we can invite some of the other groups. So thank you for being so gracious to allow us to have the other groups come in and join us for this session at your conference.
We are truly grateful for you, Dr. Green, and your team. Literally, the work we do is about exposing girls, exposing young women. And so there is no way we would ever say, no, don't bring people. This is the whole point. And I just have to say, we've been following your work for years, and I always get emotional. I'm already tearing up, so I'm going to talk fast. Just listening to your story, it just underscores the importance of the work you do, your testimony. It is just amazing. I really can't even tell you probably any more than anyone else has shared with you, that you have to follow whatever God is asking you to do. And when things happen, because they are going to happen, because this is life, you roll with it. And what you lean on is understanding from a higher power, because clearly God has already told you, as well as all the young women and older women like myself on this call, what it is that we need to do. And so it's up to us in terms of to what extent we follow that calling, because there will be times that we fall and we get back up again. And all of those experiences literally have helped to shape the amazing woman you are. And look at how you are impacting the world. This is just beyond what I could even imagine. It's just following what God has asked you to do. And all of the tools, all those experiences that you've engaged with, you used it. All those experiences were necessary. And so we salute you, truly, from the bottom of my heart. I'm just in awe. And our organization, Sacred Sisters Incorporated, we're excited because this is the 10th year that we've been able to put together this powerful work that, we saw that there is a need for, just in terms of, how do you cultivate the interests, of our young women, our Black girls who do have an interest in STEM fields? What are we doing to continue to expose them to other women so that they have that continued access. You know, literally virtual one, but I'm like, we may have to do some more virtual. We have to do some more virtual, just in terms of accessing amazing women such as yourself. So I just say that to say thank you. You have our cups. I know mine is overflowing. I literally, it is overflowing. And with that, I also want to introduce our organization. We have several members who are on, and we do have a short video. And I do want to just briefly say we are going to have a summer program where we're going to have a hackathon. And so please stay on so you can get more information about how to participate. And this hackathon is virtual, so it doesn't matter if you're across the country, you're welcome to participate. And with that, I would like to introduce each of our team members. We've got Dr. Talithia Williams, of course, who is on. And Talithia, I'm going to let everyone introduce themselves, and then we'll transition to our video and then to a discussion about our hackathon, details for participating. And so Talithia, take it away.
Awesome. Hey, everybody. It's good to see you virtually. I'd love to do a screenshot. So if you're comfortable, if you don't mind turning on your videos for 2 seconds while I get my shift command 3 here to take a screenshot, and give me your best pearly whites. Make sure the light is hitting you just right. All right. Is everybody ready? 1, 2, and 3. Let's do another one. Okay. Point somewhere. So left, right, up, or down. Point in some direction. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Rhonda's like, I'm pointing just where. Perfect. Awesome. Okay. Well, I will try to make those available as well in case you want to share. I'm a statistician.
I would love to share.
Oh, yes. Okay. I'll send that to you, Dr. Green. I'm a math professor at Harvey Mudd College and a statistician by training, and just so resonated with everything you were saying. I was like, yes, check, check. That's me, ready to quit. So it was such a joy just to hear you share your story, and I'm excited to see everyone again. So Tony, I'll pass it back to you for you to introduce other folks.
Thank you. We also have on as well, we've got 2 HU grads, Dr. Rolanda Jefferson. Dr. Jefferson, do you want to say anything?
Sure. Just to say thank you so much, Dr. Green, for coming on. I love how you talked about the whole person. When you were discussing, like, it seems like it's the 8 laws of health. So happy Sabbath. I don't know if you're Adventist, but I really appreciate the faith aspect of your work. I'm a professor at Citrus College here in Southern California in the social and behavioral sciences. And I love this event, and I hope we can share it with so many people. And I know what we're going to be praying for, that $10 million for your human trials.
Thank you. Thank you so much, and happy Sabbath to you too. And that's something I have a respect for. I do honor Sabbath. Maya has been reminding me, don't stray away from that. And I do want to invite everyone. I know there are a couple of professors on here. This is not for the students, but if you all would please consider adopting the Ora Lee Smith Cancer Research Foundation as your charity of choice and become a monthly donor, even if it's $5 a month, every dollar counts. And if I had $5 a month from everyone who knew my story, we would be at the $10 million. We would have been there a few years ago. Mm-hmm. So don't discount how much your personal contribution will be. And I would kindly ask you to do that at oralee.org, in addition to your prayers, in addition to spreading the word.
Thank you. Thank you for putting that out there. I'm looking forward to the day when we can get stuff like in California, we have several different license plates you can put on your car. And so I chose the one that supports cancer research. And so I'm putting it out there. That money goes directly to the foundation. I know a certain percentage of it goes to the California DMV, but things like that to just bring worldwide awareness. I'm putting it out there for the Oral Leaf Foundation that it is exposed in a way that garners and brings in revenue that abounds. So I just had to put that out there.
I receive that. I receive all the blessings.
It is needed. Too many
Yes.
of us, all of us have been impacted by cancer with loss or a personal experience or someone we know. And so, and our community is essentially important. I do also want to introduce Mrs. Yvonne McLeod, Mrs. Gabriella Gamise, and we also have joining us 3 junior Sacred Sisters, all of whom are doing, I can't even explain to you what they're doing. One is in medical school, one is pre-med at Xavier, and the other one is working, just received, if I may say, this outstanding, amazing graduate fellowship, not fellowship, graduate school opportunity in engineering. And I'm going to let all of them address you, but Ms. Yvonne, if you want to start it off, please go ahead.
Oh, sure. And I'll be brief. I'm just so grateful to be here with all of you today. Dr. Green, your presentation was phenomenal. As I stated in the chat, you really are a blessing and an inspiration. I'm a board member with Sacred Sisters and have been all the while, and walking through this journey and seeing the important work that we're doing, the lives that we're touching, is just an affirmation of the work that we continue to do and need to do, and the ways that we can do it together. And I'm just really honored to be a part of the organization and just a part of the event today. It's just been wonderful and beautiful. I thank you all.
Gabriella.
My name is Gabriela. I'm at Harvey Mudd College. So just blessed to be here. Thank you.
Awesome. Akuya, Choma, Tandiwe, please jump in.
I can hop in. Hi, everyone. First of all, I just want to say a huge thank you to Dr. Green for your words and your wisdom. So much of your advice really resonated with me, so thank you so much. And yes, my name is Akuya. I'm a junior board member for Sacred Sisters, and I'm currently finishing my undergraduate degree in electrical engineering at Stanford, and I'll be starting a PhD program at Carnegie Mellon in engineering and public policy. And I'm so happy to be here and so happy to share this space with you all virtually. I started with Sacred Sisters as a volunteer in high school, and so it's really great to continue to be part of this good work.
Wow, awesome. Congratulations. I wish you all the best. That's exciting.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and jump in. My name is Choma. I am currently a third-year medical student in the middle of my psychiatry rotation at Wright State University. I graduated from Howard University 2 years ago. I just want to say thank you, Dr. Green, for just the great advice. I personally like the quit for a night part and get back to it. And I feel like I do a lot of that. But I'm just so grateful to be here. Thank you, Mommy, for putting this together. I've been a part of Sacred Sisters from the beginning. And it's just so great to see, you know, my mom giving to other girls what she gave to me, that opportunity to go into the sciences and that guidance. It's just amazing to see that spread out to other young girls. So thank you.
I'm so proud of you guys. We need to have an official partnership too. I love the work that you're doing, and I'm so proud of you guys. I knew a little bit, but I didn't know you guys were doing it like that. That's amazing. Go girls.
And Chioma, I want to say congratulations. I recognize you from Howard. We were there at the same time. I just graduated last year.
Yes, we were.
Congratulations. It's good to see you.
Congrats.
Okay, and Tandiwe.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Tandiwe Bush. I'm a junior at Xavier University of Louisiana. I'm a biology major.
I think we lost. Are you there, Tandiwe?
I think she froze.
Yeah, I think her reception must have went out. And so I'm just gonna, she's a junior at Xavier. Yeah, I see. And I just want to say, I'm in awe. My cup is running over. And Dr. Green, we will keep you in our prayers for the important work that you are doing. We, to say we need you is an understatement. And I truly mean that. You are a blessing. And as soon as I years ago when I saw an article, I said, oh my God, that she's got it. And I just knew it. You know that, sometimes just when you see something like, no, that's it. And so we'll continue to keep you uplifted. Tandiwe, if you want to say something, and then we'll transition to the rest of our program.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So I was saying I'm a junior at Xavier, biology major, chemistry minor. I'm preparing for my MCAT. Right now, my test date is May 28th. So yeah, it's really difficult. And physics was one of my toughest subjects, actually, being a pre-med. So to see you just tackle it and like do what you're doing with it was really inspiring. Also to see how physics can apply to cancer research as well is really interesting. And I was really intrigued by all your research and everything. So thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing. And to any of the other young Black women on here that are interested in going into STEM, I hope that you do pursue it, because we definitely need more of us in that field. And we are all very more than capable.
Absolutely. I'm proud of you too. And let me say, as you get ready for your MCAT, the prayer that I would pray before I took a test was for God to send test angels to sit on my shoulders and help me not remember, but to whisper the answers in my ear so that I don't have to remember what I studied, but they whisper the answers in my ear and help bring to my remembrance, so that I wouldn't have test anxiety, so that I would be confident in the Lord as I took the test. And that is my prayer for you, Tandiwe, for you to have test angels sit on your shoulders, and for all the students to have their test angels. Don't forget to camp out on your shoulders and whisper in both ears all the good answers. No one side, other side, but both sides get good answers. So I am so grateful for this opportunity. I thank you guys, Dr. Causey Bush. This is a beautiful thing. My heart is full too. I feel so connected to you guys. May God bless each of you on your journey and whatever it is. My prayer, I shared this with Maya, was that for everyone to be inspired as we took this time to do this on the Sabbath and take a time from our schedule. So I wish that you guys have a great rest of your conference. I pray blessings to you. I receive your prayers, and I would ask you, if you can, pray and donate, even if it's just $1. Every little bit counts. So thank you guys. Godspeed to each of you. And I'm sending love and light and virtual hugs.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Green. Yes, thank you.
And let me also
thanks, Maya.
Thanks, Maya.
Yeah,
You did a great job.
I'm so happy that it was able to touch everybody, not just the students. It was able to touch everybody on the Zoom. That's what I was praying for. So I'm just so happy to see what God does for us. Thank you guys for having us.
Thank you so much. Thank you
so much.